Hello.
Yes, Srinivas.
Now we can hear you.
So till where you were able to hear? Hello.
You were saying about petty cash.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just try to explain once again here. So I just told that some main account is a unique ID that you can give for a main account while creating, and this will not allow you to create any new account. And the name you can give the brief description if it is related to petty cash or anything, and the main account type depending on the nature of the transaction. If it is something related to expense or revenue, P&L, balance sheet, assets, all these things you can give here. If you want to use this account only for totaling purpose, you can give it as a total and a
Srinivas,
total.
your screen is not visible.
Okay. So now is it visible?
Yes, yes, we can see.
Yeah. So under main account type, I have just explained if depending on the nature of the account and what is the purpose of the account, you can select if it is either a revenue, expense or P&L, or if it is a asset, liability or balance sheet, and the equity account. Total account is used only for totaling purpose by giving the range. The moment you select the total, it will this okay, this account we have already created, that's why it will not allow you to do any changes. But the moment you give the, let me try to give the new one, and if you select it as a total, so this option will get enabled, and if you click on the totals, for example, let me just give, if you click on the totals, it will give you options like from value to value. And if you give the number series, like between what range you want to enable the account, so that you want to, you will get the total account balances. If you give, let's say for if you like from 100 1802 120 100, the range, these the range between these accounts, whatever in future or the existing accounts, whatever it is available, the balances of all each and every account, it will be shown under the total account of this one. So like this, depending on the nature of the requirement, and depending on the requirement, you can just create a total account. Okay. So and reporting anything that is related to balance sheet requirement, you can create, if you're creating a specific main account that is for reporting purpose, you can use that one. And common, uh, common we haven't used till now. So only these accounts, most majorly only these, the above till total, these categories you can use the account types. And the main account category, so main account category is nothing but it's like sub classification, or I can say something related to, for example, if you select it as, if you select any cash account, if you select the petty cash, again under main account category, if you want this petty cash to be shown under cash or cash equivalents, you can select this one. Let me try to select cash equivalents or cash. So while preparing the reports, right, uh, if you want to select few accounts, even though we can create one specific total account to get the balances between the specific range. Let us assume there is no such specific range, but still anything that is related to cash, you want to see the report. If you give a main account category as a cash, and let's say you have given you have created 10 more such accounts, and all those 10 more accounts you have given under the main account category as a cash. So while preparing the while preparing any report, or if you want to specific cash related report, then those 10 accounts which you have given under a cash account, it will be shown. That report it will be shown. Uh, and I'll give one more best example. Let's say cost of goods sold. So what is the definition of cost of goods sold in general? It's like opening stock plus purchases minus sales. So you are creating a three accounts that is related to like purchases. You can create one account, and opening stock you can create one account, and for sales you can create one account. But if you select all the three accounts under main account category as a COGS, and if you pull any report of the COGS, so all those balances, like or what are the transactions that happened that you have recorded among those three accounts, like opening stock and purchases and sales, right? uh, so all those three accounts, the balances, it will be shown. So it will help you to identify the or classify the sub transactions or the main accounts depending on the requirement. If for example you're creating n number of main accounts, let's say for accounts payable, right? You anything that is related to vendor liability, if you want to pay, if you want to create a main account uh, for vendors liability or any transport freight. See, even again under transport also there will be two different expenses, right? One you will be spending to send goods to your customer, and one for one more transport you will be spending to purchase the goods. So in order to differentiate or anything as such, if you are creating a transport exclusive only for accounts payable, then you can include that accounts payable. And anything, for example, if you're paying anything uh, like railway or any freight expenses, these two, if you want to show only under accounts payable, then you can select the category as accounts payable. Same logic applies to accounts receivable or anything related to accumulated depreciation. Maybe like if while for each and every fixed assets we will be creating one separate account, right, under accumulated depreciation. That account can be selected under here. Anyways, that we will be discussing under the fixed asset module. So in the same way, if you see here, there are a lot of such class main account categories which are these are default available in your trial version. If you want, you can use the main account category or this one, or else let's assume you don't want to use the existing one and you want to create a main account category on your own. Just right click on this one, click on view details. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, so just click on the main account categories and click on just click on view details. So it will take you to this page. So here you can use, or you can, if you want to create a new one, just click on new. For the timing, let me just give any BRT again under description. Just give it as a Britannia accounts. So and you can create a main account category as a this one, and if you want to link what all accounts should fall under the this category, you can just click on the link main accounts. So here okay okay, and again here you should select the chart of accounts. So if you remember for Britannia we have created a chart of accounts as a See, under BRT COA, I have created these number of accounts. I'll select all these accounts. Or you can select as a link call or on link call. I'll just click on save. Yeah. See, I have created a main account category as a demo BRT, right? So now if I select this one, so whatever the accounts while creating the main accounts that you say, if you select the main category as a demo BRT, and if you want to pull any report by selecting this one, the balances or the transactions details of related to all those main accounts, it will be shown there. Or like depending on the requirement, if you want to uh, uh, for example, anything, if there are let's say dividends payable, like 2 3 different accounts are there, you can just give it as a dividends payable, and those transactions related to dividends, it will be shown here. And if there is something related to depreciation expense, if there are like 2 3 accounts, you can give that one. So these main account categories, either you can select it here and link the accounts, or else just come to the general ledger. Under general ledger, chart of accounts, again under accounts, you can see here main account categories. Just click on main account categories. It will take you to this page. So we have created our own main account category, right? Let me see if it is showing here. Yeah, I think here it is not showing, but here you can see here. But it will show here as well. Like if you just enter 4457, right? We'll see. Yeah. So if you have created main account categories, then it will be shown here, and you can just come here. You can click on new by create if you want to create a new, or the existing one can be shown here. Just click on link main accounts, and remember you have to select the chart of accounts here, because if it is since you have created a separate chart of accounts for your legal entity, right, you can select that legal entity. Or else if you want to use the shared one, uh, like the existing chart of accounts which are available in the demo version, or if you have created any specific chart of accounts that can be shared among multiple legal entities, you can select that one. So let me link all and click on OK. At least one of the selected main accounts has a main account category. Yeah, if you remember, just now we have selected all the main accounts, right? That is why it is asking us to reconsider, recheck once again if you want to do any changes. I'll just click on yes. So now under main account categories, under demo Britannia account, there are multiple accounts got selected. Okay, so this is what the main account category function future. And let's see what is this debit or credit default. See, the moment you see any asset, right? So as per the rule, like whenever there is an increase in assets, by default it will be a debited. So while posting any journal entries, if you select this 100 110 180 main account, directly it will show as a debit. But if you don't want this to be shown as a default either debit or credit, you can just click on the empty one so that it won't show either debit or credit anything. Depending on the nature of the transaction, you can give it should be either debited or it should be either credited, or by default it will show. The moment you select the main account type, it will be okay. Now default it requirement. So you know that this petty cash be always debited. That means whenever, or it should be always for example, instead of petty, we'll take any expenses, any maintenance expenses. So while creating the maintenance expenses, I'll just so what is the series that we have given for expenses? 50005259, right? I'll create one. Maintenance maintenance expense. So what is the journal entry for if you pay any maintenance expenses? In general, what is it like? Maintenance expenses accounted to cash or bank account, right? So that means while posting any of your end user, you want him to select this maintenance expenses should be always debit itself. You so, and if you see here, default the main account type it took as a profit and loss. If you want to change it as an expense, you can still give it as an expense. See, default all expenses should be debited and all revenue should be credited, right? So depending on that one, it by default it has been selected as a debit. And also, if you want to make it as a mandatory while posting anything that is related to maintenance expenses should be debited, then if you give it as a debit, let's assume your end user trying to post any uh, and if you wants to give this maintenance expenses as a credit instead of debit, then it will throw an error saying that you are not allowed to credit this main account since it is given only for debit purpose. So that is how you can control or you can restrict any of your users from posting any transactions if there is something related to specific or anything as such. If you don't want to give any such requirement, you can just give it as select on this one so that it will not allow, it will not restrict from either posting either debit or credit anything. And the balance control, even balance control is also helps you in this like if you give it as a debit, any transactions that you have posted, and if you want to only it should be debited, then this balance debit or credit requirement both would work like with the same requirement. So let's see what they have given. So for it, it says the same like it can be used only for debit transactions, and the balance control, that means if you select it as a debit uh, for crediting purpose, if you want to use these maintenance expenses to credit, then it won't allow. These both would work same, so you can just give it as a blank here. As a the next field, open account. Okay, so let's assume that you are transferring the balances from this last financial year end to this financial year end. In US, generally their financial year end will be at December 31st, right? On January, you want to transfer the maintenance expenses of last financial year to this financial year. And instead of so where you want to transfer these expenses, the balance of these expenses. If you want to transfer into opening account, you can create a specific account. Let's say if you want to create any I'll just try to create any one more account. Yeah. So while transferring the balances, you want the balance of this particular main account should be shown. We have created one account, right? So while transferring the balances, so the balance under this maintenance expenses of this last financial year will be transferred to this account. So while this opening account, it will be used while transferring the balances from previous period to current period or previous year to this year. So while preparing the year-end closing reports, then you will understand more clearly how does it helps while if you select it as an opening account. And administration under this do not allow manual entry. So this is nothing but if you want. Okay, wait 1 minute. Let me create one more account here. Why it is grayed out here? Okay, I think after creating this option will be enabled. See, the moment you say create an account, and if you select this as a do not allow manual entry, uh, it will restrict any of your end users to post use this account. See, generally it will be used. For example, let's say like manual entries, any of your end users, right? By default, sometimes whenever you do any payment to vendor, the balance it will get deducted from the bank account, right? SBA. So it is not necessary for any of your end user to touch this bank account as an SBA for anything, any purpose it may be. That means transaction, this main account should be affected only with the automatic transactions which are posted while posting. So it won't be used. For example, if it is a rent expense, then obviously your end user has to post an rent expense saying that rent expenses paid 1,000 rupees to cash or bank account of 1,000 rupees. So at that time he is supposed to enter what is the purpose or what is the description, everything. At that time, whenever he gives two bank account, right, that means two SB bank account if he selects. So he need not to select two bank account and SBI. So while selecting the rent expense, by default the transaction, the balance of that, it gets debited, right? That will be shown under the SBI itself. Or else if you want to restrict, for example, while doing any year ending reports or month end reports, like on 31st January, you don't want your end users to post any transactions only for that particular day, anything that is related to bank account SBI. You can just enable this option so that it will not allow any of your end users to post any transaction. Either you can give this one, or else if you want, let's say like in the previous example I have told you, right, you have you have transferred the balances of last year to current year, and you don't want the balance to be that account to be used in future. Then you can give active from and active to. Let's say uh, you want this account to be used from 18th January to 31st. So it will allow any of your end users to post transactions between these dates itself, and after 31st none of them will be able to post any transaction, and it will throw an error saying that this account is not under active. So you can either if you want you can give this one, or else you need not to give this one. For the timing I don't, I'll just remove this one. Yeah. And suspended. So what do you mean by suspended? If for example I have just enabled this as a yes. Let's assume that you are using these main accounts under the chart of accounts to multiple legal entities. Let's say for 10 to 15 legal entities you are using the same chart of accounts under which this main account is available. So this account will be disabled for all the legal entities. That means you will never be able to use this one suspended if you enable this option. So and if you disable this one, yes, from that day again it, see, almost these three, right, do not allow manual entry, active from to, suspended, all these three, depending on the requirement you can select which needs to be used. If you want to use only manual entry you can do that. See, if you use this one it will not allow any of your end users to post, but while posting any automatic transactions, yes, still that transaction will get affected. But if you select as a suspended, it will not allow any of them to post any transactions for all the legal entities. See, it says select this option to prevent all postings to the selected account. You cannot suspend an account that is assigned a budget group. To remove this assessment you have to modify the criteria. Okay, anyways that is related to budget, but still you can just give this as a yes if you don't want to use this account any in future. And you can disable this one if you want to use this account again. Field to transfer balance on closing sheet. Even this is also something related to like while preparing the year end reports. I think we have discussed right here opening account. In the same way, even here also you can use it while. So maybe these we will discuss in detail while preparing the year end reports. Consolidation account. Okay, consolidation account here. This field is nothing but, for example, uh, let's assume that you have got three legal entities under Britannia itself, and if you want all the three legal entities balances to be shown under this legal entity of under this main account. Let's say you have created one separate legal entity which is a consolidated account, consolidated company. Under consolidated company, all the three subsidiary balances will be shown, right, while preparing the year-end reports, because under Britannia there might be n number of legal entities, and for each consolidation account a company, you will be creating again a few main accounts. Let's say you have created uh, let's say you have created one uh, account under consolidation company with this number. If you give this one any accounts that is related to this one this SBA, right, these balances will be shown under this one consolidated company, but this will be shown only while preparing the consolidation report. So in case if you want, then only you can give this one while preparing the consolidation report. You will better understand while preparing the consolidation. That means if there are for that purpose we need to create 2 3 legal entities, and again all those 2 3 legal entities balances should be transferred to one separate consolidated company, and there you can select this consolidation account, and the balances will be transferred to this particular account. And if you see here, default currency option is here. Let's say you want any transactions that to be posted only under INR, and you don't want any transactions to be posted USD for this SBI, like while posting any transactions. So by default, the currency will be shown. Let's say I have selected INR. Then while the moment you are end user or you select the SBA, right, or while posting any transaction, by default in the general journal the currency will be shown as a INR. That you will understand, like, once we post any transactions, right, then you can see that a default currency available. And the validate currency code, we haven't used this one, and the default currency we have used. And the foreign currency revaluation, even this also, in case if you want to use this account for any foreign currency revaluation purpose, you can enable this one. In detail we will explain, we will discuss while doing the foreign currency revaluation. Exchange rate type, even this also we don't use. I mean, like if you are already, if you have, we have already created one BTN exchange rate, right? If you want to use that one, or you can give it, or else average you can give. Even this also depends on the requirement. Like maybe few legal entities, if they want to give specific bank account or a specific main account to be follow the specific exchange rate type. So all this you will understand while creating the foreign currency revaluation transactions in better. So you understood, right? The fields under general. Uh, what is the purpose of each and every field under general? Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. So you understood, right? Whatever I have told about the this fields.
Yeah, yes.
So if you select this foreign currency revaluation, and while doing any foreign currency revaluation transactions, right, by default this account will get selected. So you can enable this one so that it will be picked up. Anyways, those will discuss while doing these transactions. So this is all about the general one, and the legal entity overrides. Let's assume that you have got multiple legal entities, as I told, and if you want to restrict this main account to be uh, disabled only for one specific legal entity, you can select here, just click on add. Let me just give DEMF. So for the timing, let us assume that DMF is one of our legal entity. And if you see, remember here, I have explained about what is the purpose of suspended. If you enable this as yes, by default, this main account, it will be disabled for all the legal entities. Let's assume all these companies are related to Britannia itself. So by default, this main account will get suspended to all these legal entities. So any of these end users related to this company will not be able to post. So I don't want that option to be enabled as a yes. The reason being, I want this main account to be restricted only for the end users from DEMF company itself. Then you can restrict by specifying the list of the legal entities that you want to restrict. Let me select one more company. Yeah. So I have selected DEMF and USSA, right? Now, end users of these two legal entities will not be able to use this main account for any purpose while posting the transaction. So it will be suspended only for these two of them. And the rest of them still they will be able to post use this main account. And these, if you want to remove this one, you can just click on select these legal entities. Just click on remove. So now by default, this is available for all the legal entities. And the moment you select the legal entity overrides, right? So it will override from posting any transaction. That means it will not allow any of them. And this these options will get you can use, for example, if you want to, if there is any country specific related sales tax code, you can give the sales tax code by entering the specific legal entity. Let's assume that, let me select DEMF. See, this if you suspend this one, then only for this DMF, this main account will get suspended. If you don't select this option, that means it will the end users of DMF will still be able to post the transactions. But the main purpose of this option is to select. For example, here also there is an active from and active to. Uh, if you select here the date range between 18 to 31, that means the end users of any legal entity it may be, they will not be able to post. And if you have given 18 to 31, or let's say 18 to, so here we have selected from 18 to 24, this account should not work, right? Here you can change it here. Cannot be later than 1 minute. Since okay, so you have given till 24th, it should not be enabled, or it should not be available to post any transactions. And again, further, if you want to restrict this DMF legal entity to be used this account on 24th. Yes, you will be able to post the transactions. That means any specific requirement related to specific legal entity, right? You can give it here by clicking on the add. Just give the legal entity and you can select if you want to override the above restrictions that you have given. Let me just remove this one, active from and to. Okay, we'll see. Okay, if you have anything that is related to sales tax for this particular legal entity itself, and if you want to give them, just click on sales tax. And if you have see all this, we will you will understand while discussing the tax module. What do you mean by tax group, sales tax group, and item sales tax group, sales tax direction, and all. For the timing, just understand. You want to give these specific related details for this particular account of for this particular legal entity, that is DEMF. You can give those details here. So while using this main account, right, the other legal entities, it won't get affected of their sales tax. The sales tax details of this particular legal entity itself will get affected. So this is how you can use the legal entity overrides depending on the requirement if you want to restrict. And the posting validation, uh, as I told, you can, if you want to, here in general, it will not allow any of your uses. But let's assume that you want this main account to be used. For example, this is related to bank account SBI, right? And you want these accounts to be this account to be used only by the manager. Let's say you can give. Let's assume that David, there is a one employee with the name called David, and you want to enable this account to be accessed only for the David. Just click on David. So now only David will be able to post or will be able to use this account for posting any transactions. So like this, you can give the restrictions here. You can either create a group or you can give an individual restrictions here. And these are like we haven't used, but you can just explore more details like maybe how to restrict all these things and all. See, there are a lot of such restrictions are there. It is not necessary, but you can, if you get a time, you can explore all these options. But in general, you just understand that this field is there to give any specific restrictions. And even this also financial reporting purpose, you will use this one. Advanced tools, nothing. Okay, guys. So this is what something related to main account fields. What I would suggest you is just open USMF. Go to General Ledger. Open main accounts. So one by one, try to create accounts here. Let's say from here. See, while creating the main accounts, right? You'll it. Okay, let me select any other deposits cash. Yeah. So like this, you can try to create main accounts under your the practicing legal entity. So try to create n number of such main accounts so that what happens, the main account type and category the default, whether you want to give it as a debit or anything as. So all these things can be, you'll understand slowly. All right. So did you understand what is the purpose of each and every field here? I'll stop recording the call here.